This is a young girl with a congenital disorder who has had significant trouble swallowing. She had esophageal atresia as a baby. She had surgical repair. She's had stenosis problem after that. She was lost to follow-up after significant numbers of dilatation sessions, I think. She came to us, really not being able to eat at all with a feeding tube, and we dilated to 8 millimeters, this stenosis, and she, after that, was able to eat relatively well, but unfortunately, it has backtracked since then. So I would say we've had 4 or 5 months of her having a transformation in her quality of life just by an 8 millimeter dilation. There is, of course, the absolute imperative here of not doing harm. So that is the knife edge on which we are balancing. Right. Anyway, let's proceed on to this actual main event. So we're using a nasogastric scope to try and show you another technique. So this technique is next to the scope dilatation. Okay?
Okay.
But anyway, before we get there, let's have a look at the main event. So what's this here?
So on the left, we can see the remaining lumen actually is extremely narrow, and close to it there is a pseudo-diverticulum or a dilation of the lumen,
or maybe an actual dilation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not clear, is it? Because we've had surgery here, we're not sure what is what really. And can you drive up to that stenosis and see if we can pass through it with a it's like Baywatch in here.
Yeah.
Soon we're gonna have Baywatch on. Someone's turned a fan on. Go up to it, or how are we going to deal with that stricture for you, Andrea? Let's put some contrast down.
Yeah, first thing, define the anatomy. So define the anatomy is the first most important thing, but it's so narrow. Last time was dilated to 8, which looks like a miracle looking at what we have now.
We'll stop. So we got one thing to say is we're way too wide on the fields of the patient, because we are using X-ray for this area, all of which is a waste of X-ray. Can we bring the X-ray windows in, please? Windows narrow. This is a way of using less X-ray, I guess. And maybe center the X-ray field on the center of the patient towards you a bit. Stop. Towards you.
Could we
stop.
Write the X-ray image also?
Yeah, X-ray predominant, and then let's narrow in the size. You know how to do that? Just focus on this zone. Yeah, okay. Right.
A
again,
bit of contrast?
Yeah, we'll add a bit more.
Yeah. Because we are not seeing it completely up to the stomach.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
So.
Okay, let's do it again. So stop. Not so much scopie.
Okay.
Only once you put it in. Now, okay. Stop. Okay. Right. So what do you think about that? So we have the diverticulum clearly visible up here. This is where the endoscope is. What is the length of this stricture, do we think? Where's the diaphragm for you?
Yeah, we can see the liver. Yeah, so it's there.
Okay.
And we can see the stomach as well.
We can see the stomach starting here. So this is the length of this thing. We can measure it. What is the width of this scope? 6, I think. Where's the measuring to measure again? Passes, Maiden, calibrating. Can you give me the keyboard? I think it's 6. Yeah. So that is 6. Which means that this, and then if we get the keyboard off, and we go okay. This from the tip off here, where the scope is the scope right on the stenosis? Yeah. Not quite, was it? Yeah. Down to the probably around about where the junction is. It's probably like here, something like that.
Yeah, maybe also longer because it's not straight.
This is what John was saying. This plus, I guess, another one, right?
Yeah.
Which is this plus this, like that more.
Yeah, 6, around 6, maybe.
5 to 6.
5 to 6.
Okay, so what are our options here?
Well, to repeat what was done before, so try to start with a
wire.
Pass the wire That's critical because if we manage to pass a wire to the stomach, we can dilate.
Stenosis? You need a wire, mate.
Is the necessary condition for proceed to dilation. And then we can decide whether to start with 8, which is the diameter was used the last time, or maybe to go slower because this.
Yeah, so what we will do is we'll put a wire, and then over the wire we will put the dilating balloon. So you need to open this one, take the wire out, and put this through the scope to start with. So this is a technique which is very interesting for you to see, I think. I would not be doing this without fluoroscopy. I think that's a crazy plan. But say that, for example, you could pass the endoscope through here, then this is a very valid technique without X-ray, right? So say that we can pass the endoscope. We pass the endoscope to the stomach, and then we place a wire under vision. We withdraw the endoscope. Then we put the endoscope back in, and over the wire we put a balloon. This is a fine technique in which to dilate a stricture. But in this case, we cannot pass the endoscope, so we're entirely dependent on fluoroscopy. What for you were the key messages from this case?
Well, it was, I think, an extremely complex stricture, if we can classify, if this classification exists. First of all, so you should be very careful, and to know the history of the patient was also key, because we knew that this was already dilated to 8, so we did it quite, I don't know, we didn't risk that much because we knew it was possible and has been possible up to 2 months ago. So assessment of the anatomy, so fluoroscopy in this case, I think is necessary, because if you do it without, you really run the risk of major complications.
So I'm missing your key message is communication, very important. Your next key message is you need fluoroscopy for a complex case like this. Anything else that I took more out of this than that? There's quite a lot of take-home points in this, which I think are relevant to people. Even seeing something very complicated, I really believe in this. You see something extremely complicated, you pull out messages for even simpler practice.